So one of the questions I get out there a lot is about using the managed metadata service and when and where we should use it and how we should use it. And one of the most difficult things that we have kind of in a SharePoint implementation is really implementing this well and really understanding where it comes in handy. And a lot of times what happens when an organization actually implements it, they either don't really spend any time really understanding what it means to their organization, or what they do is they start trying. So one of the real purposes I think of a good managed metadata storage is something that you want to provide some global access to for sure, but even more importantly, an easy way to store large hierarchical lists and information around that. So one of the things you can see here that is very typical of what we see in a lot of different scenarios, you can see our big monkey term set here, and we have our clients, and we have just 5 clients below here, so not very many. But I go into organizations all the time where these are their term sets. Their term sets have 5, 10, 15, 20 different items, things that they were doing, and they've automatically tried to use this to get around what some of the perceived limitations of, say, lookup fields or choice fields were, and that this has kind of become the replacement for the new choice field. Well, one of the things that you have to realize is that actually there are a lot of good reasons to manage metadata, but then there's also a lot of very negative reasons to use it, and that is that you are actually now implementing something as a separate service application. So now you're creating a dependency in your site collection, your web application, and everything to that there. And the reality is most people are very uncomfortable with the way you have to work with those. They are still very comfortable with using drop-down lists like you'd work with a lookup or choice field, and aren't very comfortable for using this. And when you have them using this type of an interface like managed metadata has for 5, 10, 15, 20 items, it just tends to be a lot of overkill for very little benefit versus still using the old tried and true methods of the choice field, the lookup field, when you're looking at things in more of a contained area. Because again, don't forget, this is not only about where we store information and having some kind of global structure, but it's also about how easy it is for people to use. And so we've already learned that with the managed metadata services, having these one words is fine, but if you have multiple words, people got to know exactly how you phrased it and all that kind of stuff for managed metadata. And where when you have a real long and lengthy list, this could make a lot of sense. When you have a really short list, stick with the old school way of doing it, and just make sure that when you're using the MMS that you're using it for the right reasons and not the wrong.